Welcome to the Crossroads Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hunter Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire, tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
Yeah, you know, it's getting harder and harder sometimes to do that, especially considering. Y'all, listen.
Sometimes, we can start there. Sometimes it's really not best to be like the full unadulterated. Yeah. I know that's the rule, but it's like sometimes you need to be the you want to be, the you are becoming.
I am the me that I need to be.
The discipline you
at any given moment. Because I tell people all the time, like, I have the reputation of being brutally honest and direct and all this sort of stuff. And yet I still don't keep it 100. Like,
yes,
I keep it about 85.
That's
on
good.
a good day. Well, you know what? Because this is what I had to realize. Sometimes people don't want the truth; they want validation.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I just don't feel like going back and forth over BS. So it's easier to.
You got it, girl.
Yeah,
you got it.
What? Or somebody like this is. My new in recent years is okay. Yep. Like whatever point you're trying to make, like I'll say something and then you want to contradict it. Okay, yeah. You know, or I say something that's a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Amen.
You know, and so
protect your peace. That's what they say, right?
But here's the crazy part. It's like. You want me to have an opinion because this is what you do know about me. I'm not going to contribute unsolicited, you know. I used to, you know that, but like I'm usually asked my opinion. And then you have a problem with my opinion. Or when you know me and you kind of know my opinion and then you say what you say and then I don't offer an opinion, then so you ain't got nothing to say.
Maybe you need a new shirt that says, "Don't ask my opinion." That's gonna be the shirt that you can.
Nah, the shirt is just gonna say, "Okay," and it's gonna be me. It's gonna be a picture of me like, okay, like I don't have the time to tell you in how many different variations that what you just said was stupid. Especially with everybody.
Nice.
Well, the truth ain't always nice, which is why I don't always tell it, you know, like because sometimes like, do you really have the options are kind of messed up? Be nice or tell the truth, right?
Or tell the truth in love. It just depends on what the truth is. I'll say so. Give us a harsh truth. What's a harsh truth?
What's a harsh truth? Okay. Like there'll be a lot of posts about people's dating requirements, what you got to do, or this new pool of men or women, and I'm like, those aren't really things you got to worry about because people ain't checking for you in the first place.
Okay.
Right.
So right.
The same person with all these requirements is also where are the good men and where are the good women.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different struggles.
Right. So if someone was asking your opinion, because clearly you're not going to just drop that off on somebody, but if somebody was asking your opinion, what's a still truthful, but more diplomatic way to express that?
I probably wouldn't. I probably would take the approach that my therapist takes with me, right? Like my therapist, she doesn't often tell me things directly. Maybe a couple of weeks ago she did. I think she just had it with me this particular week and was just like it's you, right? But she typically walks me through my own thoughts until I get to the answer, like through questions. So if somebody's belly aching or they have this litany of requirements or things that, let's say it's a woman, things that men aren't doing in the dating scene, right?
Mhm.
I would just simply, well, how often do you have to deal with this? Like, how often is this occurring? Like, when is
Mhm.
the last time? Like, oh, really? Show me the DMs. Let me see. I want to laugh. Right? They're not there.
Not how.
It's not happening.
I don't have any, sir.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just talking about in general. Oh, so we're not talking
Mhm.
about you specifically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then why are we responding to something that's not even affecting us directly?
Well, that's social media.
But I'm saying it's keeping me from having to say
Yeah.
the
You
things,
don't have to
right?
worry about this.
You
Yeah.
that's not your ministry. It's not your struggle. Don't.
Have mercy. Well,
I'm just saying, like,
you're not necessarily wrong. I get it. A lot of
you
people
know,
speak on things, and yeah, it's like it's easy for you to speak on
right?
because you
It's
don't
like
have.
the broke dude talking about gold diggers. Like, bro,
Like,
I
there's
can't
no
deal with a
gold to
woman if,
dig.
or you arguing about 50-50 or paying bill. It's not really something you got to
It's
worry
not your
about,
struggle.
bro. It's not, or
Not
it
your.
is like, let's just say you were in a position to pay all the bills, right? Okay, but you're not. So, like, bro, don't, you're struggling to pay your own bills,
Oh Jesus.
right? why are we, why are we
Right, worried about somebody else's.
who's asking you to pay their bills if they know your currency? This goddamn net is still here.
Oh my gosh. I don't know in what order
Exactly.
you guys are going to see these episodes, but perhaps.
And I can't, because I keep reacting to them, so I can't get
Yeah.
away with it. Like,
Perhaps the net was in the previous episode. I don't know. Maybe
all
the net
right,
will be in the next
listen.
episode.
So
Do
for
you have
y'all,
fruit?
listen,
Do you have
right?
anything
Huh?
going on in the, do you have any fruit around?
Oh shit! I'm drinking red wine. You use red wine to catch gnats. Like,
I was like,
yeah, no. If you put like red wine in the glass and you supposed to like put plastic over it, like it attracts them. First of all, I don't know how the hell they even got in here. Let's start there, because you already know me and gnats are
well,
nasty.
that doesn't mean that don't mean that
So
something's going on in your house. But
people are
when you open
watching
the
and they're
door,
gonna
I
be
know.
like, why he got gnats in the
Because you open and close the door, it's
I gotta make sure I'm not drinking wine.
spring going in the sun. I know. When you said that, I was like, is it in the glass?
Right.
I don't know if you have screens. Sometimes they can get through the little
Nah.
holes of the screens. But yeah, when you open the door, try to get in and out, they sneaky. They will come on in with you.
Right. And you'd be like, I don't know what's more annoying, flies or gnats. Like,
Probably gnats because they're smaller.
and yeah, because gnats be having you looking stupid. You be sitting here, and you the only one to see it. Like, ain't nobody. So yeah. Oh, there we go. See,
I hope you got it,
I
Lord.
think I did.
And
Anyway, y'all, this is not what we're here for today.
mm-mm.
Like, okay, all right.
But it's
So
entertaining.
yeah, okay. I'm gonna get this gnat. Whatever it is, however we gonna do it, we gonna get it. So y'all listening to on audio, bear with me with the random claps and all this jazz. So let's pay some bills so we can get into the topic this week. Y'all, as always, the Crossroads Podcast is brought to you by the House of 334.
It's the house.
For all your business branding and copyright needs, go to houseof334.com. It is Black owned, it is woman owned, it is Black woman owned, and it is amazing. And make sure you move quickly because the house will fill up fast. The Crossroads Podcast is also brought to you by the Crossroads. Y'all, you can go to everything that we do on our bit.ly. Go to bit.ly/the Crossroads. That's THEXROSSROADZ to follow on all of our socials, follow what we have coming up, our new membership area that's coming up very, very soon. And also, if you want to donate to the Crossroads, y'all, we appreciate everyone who continues to donate. This is a labor of love, but love ain't free. If you think it is, go tell your landlord that you love them. So yes, we appreciate all your support. We are building, we are growing, we are changing, we are going into a whole lot of direction. So make sure that if you are watching us on YouTube right now, scroll down, hit subscribe, hit like, share it. Those of you who are on our audio platforms, make sure you go to YouTube/Crossroads and subscribe. Like, we can use all of the help that we can get to grow this channel and for you to be informed on when new episodes drop and new things that we're doing in our membership area that's coming very, very soon. So all of our day one roadies and road dogs that have been with us this whole ride, y'all, we are in our 4th year of this show. It's been an amazing ride, and now it's about we're about to do some other major things, and what we're calling our day twos for the new season. So y'all, it's still early. It's still early on the ride. You know what I mean? So those who are just now our brand new roadies and road dogs, you know, drop some love on us. Let us know that you're watching, and we know that you're watching when you subscribe. If you want to send us messages, if you want to be a guest, if you know great guests for the show, if you have scenarios, topics, or questions that you want to submit for the show, y'all email us at crossroadspodcast@gmail.com. Again, XROSSROADZ podcast@gmail.com. And we can't wait to hear from you all. There it is. So what are we talking about this week other than gnats and ugly people?
Well, we are talking about first dates. Talking about first dates. Honestly, it's been so long since I've been on one. I was like, I hope that I will be an effective part of this conversation. I mean, tell you
to tell the truth, me too.
Don't come asking me for advice. I think I'm better off just talking through experiences. But I don't know what works now. I think things are so much different than, when I was last out there. It's been almost 10 years.
So we both got an anniversary this year.
Crazy. Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, so just in that time frame, things are different in terms of the dating scene, what people do, what they expect, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what folks are doing now, but
complaining.
That's all it is, just a bunch of complaints. Like, do people want to date? I mean, so this conversation really was born out of course, social media posts, and we've seen a variation of them, right? Like, people will post scenarios like, what do you think about this as a first date? Or what's your idea of an ideal first date? Or critiquing someone else's first date. Of course, we have seen the Cheesecake Factory scenario, which, I was like,
that went up like,
I don't see anything wrong.
Right.
Somebody take me to Cheesecake Factory right now. I'm not mad.
Listen, give me some brown bread and some pasta and I'm straight. Like, I don't know.
The cheesecake by itself, fam, is like $10 a slice. Like, that's not shit.
But remember when Cheesecake Factory was like, oh, y'all went to Cheesecake Factory?
Especially in LA. Like, I don't know about other people's Cheesecake Factories, but if you went to the marina, Cheesecake Factory, you was doing it.
Yeah.
Or Redondo Beach. There was one in Redondo Beach too, I think. But like,
the marina was the one had you sitting by the water and
crack. Yes, it was cracking.
You sipping on some wine, like a matter of fact.
This was before I was probably even old enough to drink. Going to the Cheesecake Factory was like a huge deal.
Yeah, I want to shout out my friend Dana.
Hey, Dana.
This is one of my really, really good friends, and we have this ongoing. It's a joke to me. I don't know if it's a joke to her because she'll still. So we went out, right? And we went to the Cheesecake Factory in the marina, and we were actually sitting by the water, laughing, chuckling, having a grand old time. And she was like, oh my God. I'll go, what? She goes, this is a date. I was like, no, it's not. She was like, it's so a date. Like, we're sitting by the water. She's like, we're on a date. I was like, but we're not though. This
there's
was
certain things. There's certain things.
look, this was years ago, and it's almost like Friends when he's like, we were on a break. She was like, it was a day. Like she always come up like it was a. I was like, it wasn't a date or whatever. So that's like a fun thing. But like the marina, the Cheesecake Factory in the marina is like that though.
Yes, it is.
You
Very
know,
much so.
it clearly has friends sneaking you out on a date.
You know, it's valet parking.
Yeah.
It's water.
Yeah.
You know, it's a thing.
It ain't but 7 parking spots, so you got a valet.
You definitely have to valet. But that just adds to, you know, somebody comes opens your door.
Right. And so how do we get to that to Cheesecake Factory?
Right.
Like, what? Like we run. I mean, listen, Red Lobster used to be the spot. Like if you went to Red Lobster back in the day, what? You went to Red Lobster? You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Me and my ex, that was date night. So like Mondays were date nights.
Mm-hmm.
And our Monday date night was going to Red Lobster because they had the crab cracking Mondays, whatever.
All right.
So people thought we was out balling, like we going to crab cracking every Monday. We get crab, like that was the thing. We scheduled, you know, because we were trying to work on some things and we needed time. So it's like, hey, from now on, Mondays we schedule nothing. Like that's the law, that's the rule. It's date night, and so that's what we did, you know. Yeah. And now you say Red Lobster.
Folks are like,
listen, if I gotta wear a hoodie and a low hat to go in there and get some Cheddar Bay biscuits, then so be it.
I love it. Shout out to Mondays. Mondays used to be our date day. Now it kind of floats because of work schedules, but I generally don't schedule meetings on Mondays for my business. And he works 4/10s, or at least that was the time that we were doing that. So every Monday we would do brunch. Like we would find a different place in the city to do brunch on Monday. So shout out to Monday dates. And now it ain't crowded. Right, exactly. Everybody and their mama's working.
But my question is, when did there become a criteria for dates, right? Because when we were younger, right, we didn't hear or say the phrase, that's not a real date. Mm-hmm. Like if we went out together, it was a date.
That was a date.
It was a date. We went out together, we like each other, like it's a date. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you can go on all these outings and then somebody doesn't classify them as well, that wasn't a real date. Excuse me, what? You know what I'm saying? My bank account says otherwise. Right? And I don't know. I feel like we find ways to make this more difficult, right? And so when you think about the evolution of dating culture, because and do we even really say that as a term, dating culture? Because dating is now a culture now. Like I think social media has made it like its own thing. You know, like you have to define dating and what is a date and who's supposed to ask who and who's supposed to like like there's a whole checklist of criteria for a date. And how did we get here, or why did we get here? And when you start thinking of how difficult it is just to start seeing somebody, and then we keep asking this question, how come people don't stay married like our grandparents? Because we can't even get together.
Can we get to right?
We can't even
get a couple of dates under your belt.
Yeah, we can't agree on a date, right? And why men don't want to we can't afford it. Why? Because we're paying for first dates. Several of them. You know how many first dates? You know what I'm saying? And when you think about that dynamic, like the complaints about men, oh, you're not planning. Do you understand how many first dates we're planning and paying for?
No.
Versus how many you're getting planned for you and paid?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, to answer your question, I think, you know, in terms of the evolution or when did we get to this isn't a real date or having the criteria, clearly that's social media. I think when it was just on you to define like what I like and how I felt and, you know, the good time I had with this person, was one thing. Then when you start posting about it and taking pictures, and then people are able to weigh in on it, you become more self-conscious, or you are now looking at someone else's pictures and descriptions and all these kinds of things and thinking, oh, this wasn't good enough, when, you know, before any of this existed, all of this was good enough. Like you said, like people just getting together, whether it was coffee, it was going to Venice Beach. Now, this is real LA, so don't feel no kind of way. You know, doing those things, going to the movies, going to the well, now it's, you know, things like the Grove and all that, but back in the day, it might have been the Hawthorne Theaters, it might have been the
I used to Rolling Hills was my spot, you know, like I was
definitely, that's
now when that's what I was when I was being fast, like I'm gonna take the Rolling Hills.
Go to Rolling Hills, okay. Or the, you know, the Beverly Center, across the street from the Beverly Center, or in the Beverly Center, there was a movie theaters on both sides. Like that was a big deal. Yeah, going to Jerry's Deli, going to, you know, all of those things.
Oh, not the lobster pizza though. Not the lobster pizza though.
We had a good time because it was really more about who you were with, and you were excited to be with that person. You weren't necessarily in a rush at all, really, not necessarily in a rush, but even to do it at all, to share all of that. Like when we came up, it really was about like, shh, keep your mouth closed, right? And that's how, unfortunately, that's how a lot of people wind up dating the same person.
You know what we don't do anymore? Remember when we used to take people to parties? Like, hey, like such and such is having a kickback, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was a date. You know what I'm saying?
That was your announcement.
That was your date. You know, you walk in, and it could be a first date. They're like, hey, who is that? Oh, you know. You want me to go get you in? And you would have to pay for drinks and nothing because you're at a party. You know what I'm saying?
Like, and you weren't judged for that. Like, oh, I can't believe you took me to a party where everything's free. It was just like,
it was like we at a party.
You know, I will say, so a friend of mine brought this girl to my birthday party. Speaking of that, and I have pictures.
It's already funny. It's already funny.
I mean, she's just sitting looking. I remember, and this was a birthday in my 20s, so it was a minute ago. I remember her not necessarily like, you know, having a good time interacting with people, and he's always been a social butterfly, so I don't know, maybe she was feeling some kind of way. But I had that, when you started talking about that, I had that picture in my mind of her sitting to the side, like, and somebody caught that on camera, and
I've had that experience.
Like, girl, why are you here?
Yeah, if that was their first date, or it was early on, that's on him. You got to know who you with, right? And you're taking them to an event with your people, right? If she's not social like that, and you don't know that, right? You got to find out. Now maybe she might, oh no, I'm good, whatever, and then she get there and it's right.
I think that's what it was.
I had an experience, mind you, we was already in the relationship though, but this was, I didn't like taking her nowhere because that's what she did. Like, you don't enjoy this kind of stuff. You sit there and you judge everybody, and I'm coming and I'm not having fun because I'm coming every 5 minutes. You good, you know, you want me to come over here? No, like, go have fun, and then mad because I'm over there having fun and not paying attention. Like, which is it? So y'all, you got to know. And I know first dates and stuff like that, this is about learning. So nowadays, I don't recommend going to a function like that as a first date, because you don't, people meeting your friends for the first. I had a couple experiences where meeting the friends was like, huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, like this last relationship, I don't know if you were there yet, but I had an event for a business that we were running, and it was at, what's it, Felipe Chow, something like that, whatever. But we had this whole event like with the Greeks, and we had like the bartender had a special drink for every org and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was different colors and all this and all this other stuff. So one, she was late. Two, it was around my birthday too. So like we were celebrating my birthday there. She comes late. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, the event had moved from the restaurant area to the lounge area. Like literally everybody's in the lounge at this point. And so I'm like, come on with me. So no, she was sitting with me first. We're eating. And then I was like, well, let me introduce you around. I don't want to meet these bitches. Now, these are the ones that you're complaining that I'm spending all this time working and trying to build this thing with. Now you're here so they can meet you. And at least you can serve them notice like face to face, like, yeah, I'm her. I'm the one he's talking about. You don't even want to do that. And you know, women see everything, right? So the same way you see them, they see you. Not, and I'm like, right. So then when the party matriculates, I'm like, well, come with me so I can introduce you around the party. Like, you know who I was, right? Everybody knows who I am. Everybody's talking to me. Everybody, so come be on my arm so people know who you are. Since you always worry when I go out,
right?
Come shake hands and kiss babies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She probably met like 2 people and then went back and sat down in the restaurant area.
Oh Lord, she wasn't even in the party.
So now I'm like, this is an event I'm putting on, right, with my team. I gotta go sit out here in the restaurant area so I'm not leaving you alone looking dumb. And then everybody asking me why she's sitting out there by herself. Now they say, why are they sitting out? Like, do you know how that looks? You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, bro.
Yeah.
So
not you gotta, and then that's a relationship, but definitely in a first date scenario, please don't do that.
So you got, and so I say that to say when you gotta know who you're with, because that's how you can end up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like learn from that. So if they don't move like you do, and sometimes you would ask directly. Like, hey, give them a scenario. What are you like in that situation? You know what I'm saying? And so I need somebody that knows how to be fake. I'm serious. I need you to know how to be fake and know how to be fake very, very well. Exactly. Yeah. All of that. All of that. Look, talk your shit when we get in the car.
Yeah.
Right? But while we here, I need you to be just as fake as I am, because I'm fake. I don't remember nobody half the time. And I'm like, hey, sweetie. And I will have a whole conversation. Whole time I'm trying to remember who you are. Like, y'all don't know how many times I'll have to go to Dre, but like,
yes. I remember one time with somebody who like really was into you too, and that made me hecka laugh because I'm like, girl, he don't even know you.
But no, but I was also told like that's a flaw of mine, or like a problem. So a friend of mine said my problem is I make everybody feel special. Because I do that, like, and I'll have the conversation and be friendly. Like, I'm not gonna tell you I don't know who you are or I don't remember you.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
So nice.
Because if I put myself in their shoes, here's somebody that you clearly know and have a certain feeling about, right? That cannot be a great feeling for this person to say, who are you? Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever want to do that to somebody. You know what I mean? So I play the game. They walk around like, yeah, that's my friend. Da, 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 da. Right. Because what does it take to make somebody feel good?
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
the ex hated that, but why are you sitting there acting like you know her did?
My uncle would call it being congenial. He's like, no, baby, you got to be congenial. I was like, is that what it's called? Congenial.
I think that's a plus for social media though, because it's easier. You can say, hey, who is this? Where I know this person from?
Right. Oh yeah. You have time versus
and that was easier when people actually use their names. Because now it's Teresa getting my life together all by myself.
Oh Lord. I'm like, you're not lying.
I can do bad all by myself. Williams out here getting this dough.
But Lord.
Like, I, you know, hey, go off.
You got it.
Please.
Right. You got it. You got it.
That's my
You
shirt.
got
Oh, okay.
it. Mhm. Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So the do's and don'ts. I know we're kind of talking about that, but let's like, what are when you were still dating,
I'm like,
right?
I don't know what to tell people.
Or
Damn it.
okay, so you got
No,
you
I guess
got
there's some universal things. Doesn't
Mhm,
matter. You know, I don't think it matters the time,
mhm,
whether it's back in the day or right now. I think there are certain things that you want to do and perhaps look out for. And so, I mean, I would say, you know, show up at your very best. Like, don't fall through looking like yesterday's old news. Like, you need to dress to impress, you know,
mhm,
have yourself together, game tight. I mean, depending on what the date is, because if it's an activity, of course, maybe you're going to dress more casually or for
mhm.
the occasion. But, you know, if you're going to dinner or, you know, the theater or, you know, something like that, like, yeah, put your best foot forward, look nice, so that you are giving off not just, you know, that you're looking attractive, but I think it also helps with your own confidence, because that can be a nerve-wracking moment for
Mhm.
some people, right? A first date. So, you know, just doing something that makes you feel good about yourself, but will also make you attractive to the person that you're with. So I would say
Is
that's one do. Go ahead.
is this weird? Because I actually want the opposite.
You want them to look the worst that they can look?
I want you to dress down.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a little skittish about getting into do's and don'ts, because you're not dating me, you
Uh-huh.
as in the
Like
public,
no,
and you're
what you
not
yeah,
dating him. So we
yeah.
can be telling you some things that like absolutely
Yeah,
will not work
right.
for you.
And so this might be
And I'm
just
not
me,
saying
right?
dress up like you're going to prom.
No,
I'm
what you
also
said
saying don't,
what
yeah,
you said
just
was
put your best
sound.
foot forward. Yeah.
Like it was sound. But what I mean when I say that is, and I'm not saying come looking like you just rolled out of bed,
That's all I'm saying. Don't do that.
but I kind of want that, right? And here's why. If you still look good,
No, you've
right?
seen all that on the internet, because most of y'all are meeting each other on the internet anyway. You've seen the regular pictures, or
Mm,
maybe you've seen the dressed up
mm-mm.
pictures.
Every
No, you
no,
have not.
no.
You have not seen.
Social media is still curated. Even your worst is your best. Like, yeah, no, even that is giving the appearance of I'm dressed down. I woke up like this. No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
filtered, it's curated, it's angles, it's all kind
Well,
of stuff. I know how to do that.
okay,
Like
okay.
because come on, like even the voice, I practice that, right? Like the just waking up. So you know what I'm saying, the voice sound. Or if I don't feel like talking, hello. Nah, God, just taking a nap real quick.
So don't start your first dates with
Nah.
lies. Okay, just
Yeah,
don't
I
pick up
want
the phone.
no. So I'm just saying like that's why I prefer going somewhere very very casual, and I'll even say that. Oh, what do I dress casual? You can wear sweats. It's cool. We just grabbing a drink. We just getting some
Yeah,
coffee, right? Because if I see that now, I know it ain't nothing but up from here, right? Like you look good like this. It's so me and the homies used to have a term called puffy coat beanie, right? Back in the 90s when we was young. And what
Jesus.
that meant was like if she's a what we call a puffy coat beanie, that means she can put on a puffy coat, a beanie, like some sweats, and she still look good. She ain't have to do nothing. I'm just stepping out, or when the girls would be in their pajama pants and their slippers at the store real quick, and she look good.
Don't
Like,
do
yeah.
that, ladies. I get it. I
No, don't
get
do
it.
that on a date.
I get
But
it. And that's how many of us wind up in the grocery store getting hit on, because you are, I guess, at your casual regular,
mhm.
and you're trying to get,
Because if you look good
your
like that, it's like,
broccoli and your milk,
yeah.
and somebody's like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey,
Hey,
hey,
say,
hey.
say short, because now
I'm
we
like,
know
Oh my God.
But look, but if you come and you all made up and hair laid and you got, it's like, damn, she look good, but I wonder what she looked like when all this comes off. Like when the makeup is off.
Some of them you got to find out later. I don't know. I don't know how many people are gonna go on. I mean, if the first date lends itself to regular look, then maybe they'll come out regular. If you are taking her to the Cheesecake Factory, I don't know if she's gonna come out looking regular. She might feel a little, so I get it, but I guess overall just look nice.
Good.
Not like that, okay? Just put a little effort into it, iron your shirt, gents. Don't just come out with the, you threw it in the dryer with a little wrinkle guard and
right. And for the fellas, I recommend, if you are like me and you are a hat wearer, right? If I'm not at work, it's very seldom that you'll catch me not in a fitted. Don't wear a hat. Like I recommend within the first 2 dates, you do something that your hat is off, right? Namely the first one, so that you not like, you might have post pictures, but like let her see it, So I don't think I've ever done an episode without my hat. Like this is my thinking cap. I don't know. Plus I've loved them since I was a kid. I've always loved hats. But I'm also bald. It's not, for those who don't know me or whatnot, it's like, I wonder what he looked like without the hat. I know that's a little bit arrogant to say, because whoever said that y'all was even thinking about that. But in case, I am bald, right? And so that I've never gotten any complaints about my bald head, but let her see what she's getting into. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so we're talking about, you were saying like, oh, if she looks good in the puffy coat beanie, right? But also, if you know that there's something about yourself that you have not shown, perhaps like if you are doing a online dating situation, like all of your pictures look one way, you're always made up, you always have lashes, you always are this, you always are that. Getting into a relationship with somebody, it's likely they're going to catch you at some point in time where all that is not a thing, Exactly. And so that's a good point to just say, like, here's what it is. So I'm not necessarily proud of this, but this is where I was with hashtag boo. Like, our first date, I was in a bonnet, bro. I was just like, this is really what it is, okay? Like, you can love me like this, not the whole time, but ultimately when I'm watching movies and stuff, and I was like, let's put my bonnet on type of situation. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I don't.
I thought it was like, wait, how you go from bonnet to nobody?
Yeah, I don't want to take the wrong picture. But yeah, I didn't have to do that. I feel like I did that just to kind of see what was going to happen. And again, this is almost 10 years ago. Now I feel like, folks have things to say about bonnets. I don't know. It's just all the things that people used to not have.
People got something to say. We did a whole show on bonnets after the Derek Jackson debacle.
That was because she got.
We was wrong for that.
With her bonnet. we were.
We was wrong.
We were. But it was fun. The helmet of salvation.
The helmet of salvation. My God. Yeah. For those who don't know, after the Derek Jackson, like when his wife came on the internet in the bonnet, we did a whole show. We were talking about that, and we have bonnets on for the show. I think I had a beanie, but I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely had a bonnet on, but yeah. So all that to say, I think for me in the beginning, I was like, oh, he didn't even flinch at that. It wasn't even like. And we just went right on. And so, here we are 2.5 years in the marriage, and he's bought a bonnet. Like, so for longer hair, it's a little harder to put in your regular beanies. I looked up, went on Amazon and found me a bonnet. That's a beanie bonnet that can fit your braids or your locks in. And I was like, that's because you was down from day one. You know the importance
Right.
thereof. But anywho,
Yeah. See,
I think that
I
is a
remember
great
when you
point.
was scarves and not bonnets.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, bonnets was such a big deal, but we came from
Right.
scarves,
Yeah.
and
So for
clips and wraps.
for those who don't know, yeah, y'all see Dre usually like braided up or something like that, but under all like it's mad hair under there.
Yeah, it's like
Right. It's
clips and wraps.
it's mad hair. So she used to wear what's it the wrap like it was super duper straight. Like I don't
Yeah,
ever think I've ever seen her
bone
with her
straight.
hair not laid. Like it was bone
Mhm.
straight. Like and long.
Those are the
You
days,
think you'll
honey.
ever go back to that?
Yeah, it's just out here, the
Oh yeah,
weather.
you are in the heat.
But yeah, those are good days.
But it's dry
And
heat.
also having a very good stylist. I just found somebody that's really,
Mhm,
really good. So I might have the
mhm,
ability to do that. But the girl that
mhm.
did my hair, like she was a real MVP. I can't even. Well, her and
Yeah,
my
I
grandma, that's
listen.
where I got the hair from.
It was not a day or event where the hair wasn't
You
doing what it
better
was supposed
tell
to
them.
do.
You
You know what I'm
better
saying?
tell them.
Walking to Margarita Jones, like
Ah, yeah. And you
I'm
leave, it's
missing
a
the
totally
spot.
different story. Yeah.
Yeah, even
Put it
though
in a ponytail or
that
something.
could be your first date spot. Hey, meet me at Margarita Jones.
Yeah. It doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. But
That Leonardo's,
yeah. All the good
um,
spots.
all the
All
good
the good
spots. Yeah,
spots.
growing up in LA was great. But what's another do or don't? Um,
Well, we've done some do's.
we've
What
done some do
about
don't.
don'ts?
Don't spend too much time talking about yourself. And that can
Mhm.
be a hard one, right? Because there's a line between you wanting to know about them and you not saying enough about yourself, right? Like, it's, and I think people generally try to be polite and, oh, I want to know more
I
about you,
know
but
what
no, and
you.
about you know,
Yeah.
but like, it's very difficult for someone like me. Not that I'm self-absorbed, I'm just long-winded, as
Mhm.
y'all know, watching the show. Really? That's what we're gonna do today?
I was fixing the necklace.
And so sometimes you're in a thought, and literally I have this inner voice that go, damn, how long have I been talking? Ah. Like on the show, I don't like we're doing a show here. But like on a first date, it's like, dang, am I talking too much? All right, pull it back, rein it in, right? And then
Hmm.
sometimes I might be quiet too much and like focus on her so much because I'm trying to keep from dominating the conversation, being long-winded. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because my thoughts are just long. I'm still practicing being succinct in my thoughts, and like I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's a need to be clear or understood. So I got to give like the context and you know.
Hmm.
So it's like just give the thought and maybe allow them to ask questions if it's not clear.
Right.
But if you
Right.
don't, and they just take it at face value, they might interpret something that you're trying to say and didn't think to ask questions because they thought it was a complete thought.
Yeah.
So,
So okay, so that's a good one. And on the flip side, maybe don't just sit there, right? Or wait for questions to then respond. That's almost like dealing with a child or a teenager. Like when I talk to
mhm,
my niece and nephew, I know I have to ask certain questions because if I say, how was your day? I'm going to get good.
mhm, right,
And then what? Like, right?
yeah,
And so you don't want to be the type of person on a date that you're kind of just sitting there.
mhm,
Be engaging. Yes, answering questions, but again, yeah, giving a little context. Sometimes it may take that to kind of warm up everything and get the other person going. So be an active participant, I guess, is
mhm,
the best thing to listen actively and also be prepared to be involved and not interview. Like nobody wants to be thinking about 10 questions they have to ask you to get you to talk. So be prepared with, something that you want to share, and then of course things that you want to know about the person that you with. So be engaging.
I would also say this: validate before you relate. And what I mean by that is sometimes someone can share an experience and you have a similar experience that you begin to share and it feels like a one up, right? And so don't go straight into your experience. Validate their experience first. You know what I'm saying? Like respond to their experience. Like what? That is crazy. So what did your mom say when you da 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 da? You know what? I had a similar experience, right? And so avoid stuff like, oh, that ain't nothing. Let me tell you about. Really? Like they just told you a life experience and you go, that ain't nothing. Oh, I got one better than that. Oh, nah. Like, man, that's crazy. I had a similar experience. Right. Yeah. Or sometimes leave it at that and let them ask what the experience was. Right. Like, oh, yes, that's happened to me. Really? What happened? Oh, well, back in 87. Whatever.
And I've heard, I don't know if it was for neurodivergent people specifically, or it included them and maybe some others, like the need to relate is they don't consider it necessarily rude. Like they're looking to form a connection. And so that's a good way to advise, right? And so like this may be your intention, but you don't know necessarily who's sitting on the other side of the table from you or next to you, depending on how you guys are doing it, right? And how they may take that. Like you don't know them yet. Perhaps once you have, more experience with them, then they'll understand you, you'll understand them. But that's a good way to practice. So practicing brevity. If you do tend to go too long, generally practicing putting a little more on it if you generally are very, very short or brief. And I like that. Validate before you relate. That's really cool.
I just came up with that too. I'm gonna have to write it down.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a couple of questions. I think we may have time for some questions. If you're down. All right. Hey there. Hey. I've been enjoying your podcast. It's been super insightful. We thank you. Welcome. I don't know if you're day one or day two. I've got a burning question. How do you suggest handling those awkward silences? Oh, wow, because we're just talking about talking. How do you suggest handling those awkward silences that sometimes creep in during a first date? Any tips on keeping the conversation flowing naturally without it feeling forced? Thanks a bunch.
Yeah.
No, I guess maybe you don't have awkward silences on your date because you I'm gonna handle this.
Yeah, I'm a conversationalist, so this might be kind of corny, but if done right, I think it could be cool. You know what I mean? Don't show up with paper.
Yeah.
Right. If you can, find an app or a game that has questions. Right. And I would say this. Mention that it's corny. Like, okay, look, this is kind of corny, but I've always wanted to try this. Right. There's this game that I found, like with questions. Like, you want to play? You want to try it?
Yeah.
I think 9 times out of 10 they'll be down, but I think it kind of breaks the awkwardness because now like there's an activity. You know what I mean? Or sometimes, especially fellas, this is you. It's an opportunity to kind of be vulnerable, right? Be like, listen, okay, you're beautiful, right? And it's making me a little nervous. So, right? Like she's flattered, but she's like nervous. Well, I'm like, I'm just like, look, I'm having a great time so far. and I don't want to mess it up being nervous. So
Mm.
here's a little game, like, you know what I'm saying? I know it's corny, but I'm a nerd, I'm a cornball. But like, you want to play this questions game. And then like kind of lead in, you know. Um it's slightly game, you know. I wouldn't necessarily say it, but I'm saying it's a suggestion for somebody that I might work for.
Um,
But that's just my personality type. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not. I'm usually nervous before they arrive,
Hmm.
right? And those first few moments when they do arrive, because I'm generally there first. If we didn't ride together, which I really don't do. Um, yeah, it kind of, all right, and it can kind of put you in the groove. And then sometimes there could be a question that opens things up for more elaboration, you know, and
Right.
you kind of start going down that vein. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I love that. I actually have a friend, Dr. Amber Wright, fight on, received her doctorate from USC. And so she's developed something called Can We Talk, the Can We Talk cards. And she actually has a set for couples, some for kids, some for colleagues in office settings. And it really was created to help people communicate better. That's really her specialty. And I hope that we can get her on the show to
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit more about that. So I love what you mentioned, whether it's something established like Can We Talk, or even if you come to the date with just a couple of, questions, like you mentioned, I think anybody that is on the same wavelength as you would find that very charming. And, that's something I would like to do. Like,
Mhm.
I think our hashtag, but we're a little different in that way. So I would be like, yes, and he'd probably be like, okay,
Right.
but I think it's really, really cute. Um, I think something else to do sometimes is just to embrace the silence, right? Like sometimes, it's okay to just take a beat.
Mhm.
You might need to take a breath if you're anxious or nervous to kind of gather whatever your next thought might be, or the next topic of conversation. But it's okay to take a pause if you need to. And then you're able to, kind of jump back in there. But I don't think you should feel the need to fill all of the spaces with sound.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes let your quirks out, right? Like, listen, I'm cool, but I'm a nerd as well,
Hmm.
and I enjoy being a nerd. I enjoy being a cool nerd. So sometimes I might pull out a card trick or a game, like,
Ah, I watched
no,
it.
seriously. Like I've done it before. Like, like, bring it like a way to segue into it. Like, watch this, try it. Here's one of the tricks that I do. Usually it works with cards, but maybe I'll write it down.
Hmm.
Right. So I want you to pick a number. Don't tell me the number, just pick a number.
Okay.
Right. You got it?
Are we doing this right now for real?
We're about
Oh,
to do it.
okay.
You're gonna do
Okay.
a little math, right?
Okay. Oh
And see if
Lord.
I get it
Okay.
right. Yeah, yeah. So all right. So you have your number,
Yes.
multiply it by 2,
Hmm.
add 10,
Okay.
add 2,
Okay.
divide by 2,
Oh Jesus. Okay.
subtract the number you thought of.
Okay.
And if you did good math, you have 6.
I did.
All
Now
right.
is that gonna work with any number you have? Is that how that trick works? Are you not gonna tell
I
us?
can't. Yeah,
But
right.
like Barzini, give us
But normally I do it with cards, and I'll be like, "You got your answer." Then I make them pick the card, and it's the card, da 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 da. Right?
Oh, okay.
You
That's
know.
good. Yeah, it was
So
6.
I'll
Okay.
I'll I'll show you how I do it off
Oh, okay.
air.
Okay. Okay.
But if you have a little trick or you have a little game or something like that, right? Like, or we play
Yeah.
21, you know what I mean? Not blackjack, but it's a counting game. I do these games with my kids, like during lunchtime, like to build relationships with them because they're like, oh, hi, they always want to beat me and they never can. So like that's
Hmm.
the thing. You can win a prize if you can beat me. It gets them to thinking. It's like it's engaging, and do a little thing. And then sometimes it can segue into something different. But
Right.
I would also say this, this annoys me when people say this. Like people that say, "Oh, I hate small talk." Embrace the small talk. I know you say it, but I say this, and embrace the small talk. And the reason why I say that is the other person may not be like you. They may not be the conversationalist you are. They may not be the deep diver that you are, right? So just coming in hot, it's like they don't know you, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
what's
even
your
though
favorite
I
thing?
hate it, I still do it. But
Mhm.
it's uncomfortable to me because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel deep, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm a connector and all these kind of things. And so yeah, to just
Yeah,
be like,
but
what's your favorite color?
also, yeah, but everything ain't deep, right? And so
This is
sometimes,
true. This is
yeah.
true.
And so because I get this from my dad, it's like I have to control my conversations sometimes because people don't want to be deep all the time. You know, I'm a thinker and I'm like, I got, but like
Yeah.
sometimes keep it surface and just fun. Keep it light and fun, right? If it
Yeah.
goes deep, then go deep. You know what I mean? And so people will say things like, "Oh, what's a essential first date question?" You're right. What a great first date. What should you always ask on a first date? And my answer to that is always this: would you like to go out again sometime?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first date question that I want to get you. That's the only one that matters to me, right? I don't need to know your whole life story the first date. I don't, I want to know, can we have fun together? Right?
Can we have
Do
fun?
we enjoy each other's company? Then after that, I get to know more about compatibility. Da, 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 da. But if I don't even enjoy your company with small talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how deep you are. We can't laugh and giggle and say silly stuff and people watch. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. But you want to take a last question?
Last question. Okay. Everybody starts with, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Yes. What are some red flags to watch out for during a first date? Sometimes it's hard to tell if someone is genuinely interested or just going through the motions. Any advice on spotting those warning signs early on? And I feel like as a man, you might have different things that you're looking for.
Mhm.
Some things may align, but I think you all have some specific things that you might be looking
All right.
for.
So this is one of them times where I'm about to be bars, right? And not give a common answer.
Mm.
A red flag for me is someone who was looking for red flags.
Mm.
Like you want to be disappointed. you're
Oh,
looking
they
for
just want to know if
no.
this presents itself, you
Yeah.
know.
Listen, red flag. You don't have to look for red flags. They're red.
They're have
They're
mercy.
gonna come up eventually, right? You don't need everything in one sitting. And people's like, well, I don't want to waste my time. What were you doing before this? Like you
Who
were
knows? Who knows what they
right.
were doing?
You were sitting around not dating,
Maybe
or
they were.
or still dating, right?
Hmm.
So you don't have to worry about like just have a good time. I'm not showing up looking for a bad time. That's what the red flags are. I'm literally going to look for reasons to not go out with you again. No. I'm showing up looking for green flags. I'm showing up to have a good time. I'm showing up in hopes that this is going to be my last first date, possibly,
Yeah.
right? I want to show up with a level of optimism. And if it proves to not be that, that is the red flag. Okay, I didn't enjoy myself with this person, right?
Hmm.
Or the conversation, some things came up that I don't align with. So I'm either going to compartmentalize or not see this person again. Like, hey, they're cool. Maybe we can be friends. I don't think dating is a path for us, you
Hmm.
know? Or, you know, it was great meeting you, but I'm gonna move along. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think looking for someone who looks for red flags is a red flag. And now, as they come up, I'm not saying ignore them, but allow them to show themselves, right? Because when you show up trying to put pressure, oh, so how many relationships have you been in the last year, and why this and what?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and maybe not badgering them, but if that comes up and that's a thing for you, then I mean, it's a thing for you.
yeah,
It's a thing
yeah.
for you.
I mean,
Uh, But I get generally what you're saying, like come in perhaps with optimism and that air of fun and freedom, and not, like, oh my God, I wonder, what he's gonna say or do that's on my list, So I understand that. I would say, and I think we talked about someone who probably talks about themselves more, and does not give space for the other person to share, or doesn't seem interested maybe in what you may have to say and or share. A big thing, if you are out and perhaps you are at a restaurant somewhere where there's serving staff, I generally pay attention to how that person treats those that are serving us, or just people in general. Like if you're too much dip on a chip, like I'm like, oh, okay. I see how this gonna be, right? Like, if you can't offer basic respect. Now, I'm not saying, yeah, of course, if somebody gets out of line, even with that, because I am very big on respect, but I also understand, I don't want to create or participate in an environment that would be embarrassing to the person that I'm with, cause them to perhaps get hurt and or arrested. Okay. So I understand how that feeling can build up, and then we have to navigate that gingerly. But I'm just talking about just being rude for no reason, right? If they put tomato on your burger, and Lord knows I hate tomatoes, but and you going off and all these kinds of things, like, no, I cannot, because I know I'm gonna make a mistake. Are you gonna go off on me because I made a mistake? So just keeping an eye out, or if those things present themselves, let's just say that, we won't say keep an eye out. If those things present themselves, that may be something that you notice and may classify as a red flag.
Well, just as a life lesson, and not even just a dating lesson, there's 3 people that you should always make sure you are kind to and take care of. That's someone who handles your money, your hair, and your food. Because
you be out here messed up
in all 3 ways. So like if I'm with somebody and they're rude, I'm all of a sudden not hungry. Or if I already got my food, it's good. I'll eat it, because I ain't sending it back. And I never send food back more than once anyway. Like if there's something wrong, if it comes back again and it's still wrong, I'm good. Because you keep sending stuff back,
Yeah.
But yeah, I do believe in being kind. Or if it is a problem, like whoever the waiter is, it's like, okay, look, I know this ain't your fault. I know it's not you. You doing the thing.
Right.
However, right? Or if I speak to a manager, I was like, hey, like they're doing their job, but it still ain't coming out right. Like, can you take care of this for me? I think in those situations, it's the way that you do, and it does go a long way. And I do think that is something to pay attention to, just how you treat other people.
Right.
Because to end up with this person, not just so much that how they treat you, but it's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, why are you with this person that they treat people,
right? That part.
Like that. So, yeah, it can be a lot. But let's move into our final thoughts.
Absolutely. Final thoughts. I have to think. What do I have that's final? Okay, so first dates. They can be exciting. Look forward to I don't want to say that. Now that I think about it, I was going to say, look forward to it being your last first date. And for some of you, it might be, right? But for others, it might just be a part of your process. So go into it, again, with that healthy optimism, have fun, put your best foot forward, enjoy yourself, allow someone to enjoy you, right? And then learn from whatever the previous first date was, right? If for whatever reason your last first date was not your last first date, what are some things that you learned along that journey, or perhaps at that date, that you can take and apply to the new situation? I think that's something that I would share, not to compare, right? We talked about how things have evolved, of course, since social media came into the picture. And I think I would really encourage people as much as possible to not chronicle their initial dating stages. And perhaps not at all, just depending on the type of person that you are. If you can hold it, as long as you can hold it. You know, some of the things that, you know, kind of gave me a chuckle when we announced we were engaged, where people like, wait, I didn't even know y'all were together. That is what you want, right? As much as close to that as you can get. You know, if you're really good, you'll wait till your wedding day and then really pop out like but you know, protect those moments so that you have the ability to really assess, be who you want to be in that, without regard to what other people are going to say, how they're going to react. Does somebody know this person? Just free yourself from all of that, and have a good time. I know it's not always the easiest thing, especially if you wind up, you know, kind of doing this over and over. Also, those that are dating online, you know, we didn't get into it, but, you know, catfishing is a thing. Is it still a thing? I know it was a thing. They made a whole show out of it, right? But, you know, that's still a thing. And so that can bring in a whole nother set of issues. So do things that are comfortable for you, that allow you, again, to show a little bit of who you are and get a frame of reference of who they are. And so, as for me, I did not really like to do things that captured our attention away from one another. When I did first dates, it was an opportunity for us to talk. So if it is dinner, you know, sitting across from each other, I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, we're conversing, or going out for beverages, whether it's coffee or adult drinks, whatever it is that you decide to do. It might be an activity together, but I didn't really, you know, like movies or going to a ball game or something like that, where you're really focused on some sort of entertainment or something that's happening apart from the person, not on the first date. I mean, you know, maybe I built up to that, but that wasn't my preference initially. So if you like that, take it with you. If you don't, you know, good luck with whatever it is that you decide to do. Also, oh, ladies, and I know we make jokes out of this, you know, being indecisive, not knowing what we want to eat, all these kind of things, but it would not hurt for you to have an idea of where you want to go and what you want to do, or even to make a suggestion like, hey, let's do this. Try something different. If you're always used to the guy planning and telling you and trying to guess, like, child, he don't know you, right? Like, give him a little something, right? If you're allergic to seafood, you know, we don't want him to take you to Joe's Crab Shack. You might be mad if you take you to Joe's Crab Shack anyway. It might not be fancy enough, but give them.
They come dumping on y'all table.
Like Joe's Crab Shack, crustaceans. Right. How about crustaceans? You don't want him to take you somewhere that's going to cause you to, you know, go into anaphylactic shock. So, you know, you might need to be an active participant on that. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. A final thought. Don't show up trying on each other's last name.
It's good.
Right? Live in the space moment to moment. For me, my long term with someone is nothing but stringing a bunch of todays together. Right? Like, I want to have a great first date, and my goal for the first date is get to the second date, and my goal for the second date is to get to a third date, and so forth and so on. And eventually, hey, you know what? You're the only person I want to go on dates with.
Mm.
And you know what? Hey, you've been the only person that I've been going on dates with, and I enjoy it. I want to explore the possibility of a relationship with you, on an official capacity. You know what? We've been in this relationship for quite a while, right? And I've enjoyed this. I feel like, our life path is the same. We want the same things out of love, and life, and we are of the same mindset in most of the important areas of life. I would like to just do this life thing with you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so it's a progression, but all it is a bunch of todays, right?
Yeah.
um and being patient and spending the time to actually get to know this person, and not be with them because you want to be with someone. Y'all, listen, being single can be very, very lonely, right? Like, Dre and I are on two opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, she went on her last first date 10 years ago, and I ended my last relationship 10 years ago. Right? At the same time. Two very, very different paths. And again, there's a lot more context and things that have gone on in that time. Um, However, it's a level of patience, because forever is a long time to wear the wrong ring,
Mm.
right? And rushing something, the likelihood is you're going to end up right back where you are, but with more trauma. You know what I mean? So be patient and just enjoy moments. Like, we're so focused on future that we forget to enjoy the moments. Like, today is happening, right? And we're so scared of wasting our time. And if this doesn't work out and I've wasted my time, you're wasting your time right now thinking about it, and you're missing this moment. You're missing this memory. Not everybody you come across is the one,
Yeah.
clearly, right? And so just enjoy today, and tomorrow will present itself. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, show up, enjoy the moments, and don't ruin it with, you know, nonsense that doesn't matter today. So that's my final thoughts. But y'all, again, it's been a great time. We love y'all. We love that y'all support us, all of our roadies and road dogs and everything else. And there's much more relationship talk to come. That's, we can never run out of those topics. But love is such a commodity. Love is priceless, and I don't think I've ever met somebody that didn't want it, right? Um, and so we just got to make sure that we're working on ourselves to get it, and sometimes throw the rules out the window, throw the templates out the window. There's no one way to do this thing. You know what I mean? And I want to see everybody find their person, and their forever, and find not happiness but joy within yourself and with this other person. So that's all for this week. We will see y'all next week. And in closing, always remember.
Be free to be you. Bye bye.
See y'all next week.
This has been the Crossroads Podcast. And remember, be free to be you.